Hello everybody, it's Kristi and Sophia, here back on our cooking channel.
Today we will be making a fan favorite, manchitloaves. They are so tasty.
And they're great because they can be eaten by themselves or they can be sliced and used as trenchers.
Today we will be slicing them and using them as trenchers to pair with the stew we are also making.
We decided to make the pottage stew. It's nice, thick. That is our absolute favorite kind of stew.
As you can see, we are walking out to our cooking shed. When we cook over an open flame.
It's way too risky to cook inside our home, so we cook inside of a
cooking shed. Yes. Now that we're here, let's get right into it, starting with the bread.
There are lots of other kinds of bread we could have chosen to bake, such as wheaten bread or raveled bread.
But we chose manchit bread because that's our favorite and it's not too hard to make. Now let's talk about ingredients.
Manchit bread consists of the flour ground at the Lord's own mill by his milling.
Some very expensive salt, but luckily we bought a large quantity earlier this year because it saved us some money.
And we have yeast.
And we have the sweetest honey we could find. Honey is a very important ingredient because it keeps the bread nice and sweet. It's pretty much the only way to sweeten food around here.
For this recipe, you will be needing a knife.
This one is made out of stone, but recently we've been making them out of metal such as iron. And we found that not only do they last longer, but they work better too. But we don't have that yet because we're just peasants, so we can't afford it. So this one, they're just stone.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Wooden bowls are used to mix the yummy bread dough with wooden spoons.
Most of the utensils we have are made out of wood because it's cheap and it's easy to make.
But most importantly, you have to make sure that you have pot holders and a fire dome. A pot holder is what you need to keep the bread from not falling into the fire. And the fire dome is where the magic happens.
Now let's begin. First, take out 2 bowls. Now in the first bowl, add 2 large handfuls of flour.
2.
Now, add 4 twists of salt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, add 2 things of yeast.
In the first bowl.
Yep. Now in your second bowl, pour 1 cup of water and 2 drips of honey. Now, mix these ingredients together. Now, mix all those ingredients together and start kneading. It'll be very sticky at first, but eventually it'll become a smooth dough. Now, take out your dough and place it into chunks on a pan. And then, let's just do that real quick.
It doesn't matter the size of the thing.
Yeah, try to make them pretty even.
Yeah, so they cook
But this is gonna feed our whole village.
The bread we make are great for stews like we're making or just to eat.
Yes. Now we're gonna place cloths over our rolls, and now we're gonna let it sit for a while so it can rise. And while we do that, we'll be making our pottage stew.
Okay. Now we wait for our bread to rise. We're going to start the pottage stew.
This stew is a great meal option for all. It's very inexpensive to make due to the lack of meat.
Instead, it contains a lot of vegetable and grain.
To make this stew, you will need lots and lots of veggies.
You will need carrots, parsnips, onions, turnips, mushrooms, green beans, cabbage, and they should all be diced. And to remind you, all these vegetables are cooked and grown.
They're all grown from our garden, our very own garden, and we pick them ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, stop me.
About 1 cup is necessary for all kind of veggies. They should all be diced as well. Once that is done, we dump them into a pot. This one.
Along with broth made from the bone of an animal, such as a deer. And we need spices such as salt, thyme, dried rosemary, sage, and pepper. Spices add a lot of flavor in our stew,
We don't have a lot of flavor nowadays.
except for our spices.
Don't forget to stir it. It's gonna be so good.
And tasty.
Mmm. And don't forget to add your oats. Yummy.
Now that everything's been done in preparation of making the stew, oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. I am going to go put it over the fire, let it simmer for a bit until it looks ready.
And I'm gonna go grab the bread.
Oh wow.
Look at this bread.
That really burns up.
It smells good too.
Oh my gosh. Mmm. Oh. It would be perfect to put the stew on. Now that the bread and the stew are both done,
You're gonna cut the bread into nice trenchers.
and then scoop some stew onto both pieces. This will make it so that you can eat the stew, and then the trencher works as a plate.
I need a 2-in-1.
And the stew soaks into the bread, and then you eat the bread after. Works perfect.
This is a nice meal after a hard day of work. Sit down with your family and enjoy a pottage stew and toasted trencher.
Thanks for watching. This is Kristi and Sophia. Come back next week when we show you how to keep your meat from rotting.